Hi all, welcome to Acharya Coding School. In the day one itself, we have discussed about what is Linux, what is operating system, why we are using Linux, and the architecture of Linux. So we have discussed each concept in detailed manner in the day one itself. In the day two itself, we can discuss about the Linux commands basics. So which are necessary for us to you as a basic Linux concepts. We can discuss in this class. And we can, before going to the Linux commands, we can discuss first of all shell. The shell is a program that mainly acts between the bridge that mainly acts as a bridge between the user and the Linux kernel. So, for example, if you take, so this is the architecture of the Linux. So here we are the user. So if you give the input to the architecture, so to the Linux, so the shell here mainly acts as a translator between the shell is mainly acts as a translator between the kernel and the us. So if we what is meant by translator? So for example, if you speak English, user. For example, think you are a user. So you have spoken the English. So then the shell may the kernel speaks binary language. Binary means zeros and ones. So if we want to translate your user said words. So for example, if you are giving the input as English, but the system only understand in the terms of binary language. Binary means zeros and ones. So here the mainly shell acts as a translator between the user and the computer. So the kernel is nothing but the operating system. So the shell is a mainly program that takes commands from us and gives to the operating system to execute. So for example, if you see this, if you are the user, the shell mainly acts as a translator and it passes to the operating system and displays the output. So in shell, we have like a different types of shells. SH, bash, CSH, KSH, ZSH. So there are like a different types of shells. So Linux mainly has a like a multiple shells which we are using. Mostly common, we are using this type of shells. So SH means it's a older and simple version, but it has only minimal features. Only less number of features will be available using the SH. And we have like a bash. We have born in a shell. So it's a most popular Linux operating system. So it has like a different number of features. So by default, most of the users are using this. And we have like a CSH. So it's mainly like a C like syntax programming. And we have like a KSH. So it's mainly advanced features we have. And we have like a ZSH. So it's the modern and most powerful, which way present most of the developers are using this one. So most powerful and customizable. So which we can customize according to and present so many popular. It was mainly popular in the market. So it's mainly most of the user better, most of the developers. So we have like a till now we have discussed about shell and types. So we can discuss about the shell futures. So we have like a different types of futures available in the shell. So it's mainly like a command execution. It's mainly useful for the running Linux commands. And we have like a input and output direction. So based upon that, we can get to know about the input and output direction of the shell. So we have like a pipeline as well. So which is we are mainly using for that to connect two commands. And we have like a variables which we can use for the storing data. So we can give the variable name as for storing our name in the memory. So like we can give as a variable name as for example, if you can give your name. So if your name is Rashmika, so you can give the name equal to Rashmika. So like variables you can provide in the shell. So using the shell, we can see the history as well, and we can see have the wildcards as well. So which we are mainly for the pattern matching. So and we can have like a customization as well. So and we can have like a scripting part. So using this, we can write multiple commands in a single file. So if you want to execute 100 number of commands, to type entire 100 number of commands at a time, so it will take a more time for us, right? So we are taking every command, like multiple commands, into a single file, and we are executing them as a program. So using this, we can reduce our time. So if you want to execute the same commands every time, if you want to type 100 commands, it will take a lot of time. So to instead of doing every time manually, so we are using the scripting. So we are automating our task. We are executing this program, and we have like a shell prompt. So when you are logged in, you can see a prompt like username and the host name. It tells about who is the username and who is the system name. Host name is nothing but the system name. So this is the home directory. This is a normal user. So if we are using a root user, then we are having like a symbol, this like symbol. This is the root user. So for example, why we are using a root symbol? For example, if you are a king, you have permission, whatever you want you can do. But the soldier did not have much permissions, right? He has only followed the directions provided by the king. But the king will not follow anyone's directions. He has his own thoughts and he can follow. Same as like the root king has permissions for everything, but the soldier has only limited permissions. So if you want to execute anything in the Linux, so if it is a root user, he can do whatever the permissions, he can change the permissions. So we can do. And we have like a shell versus terminal. So in Windows or program where you can type the commands, it's mainly like the terminal acts as like a program, like a window. So when you can type the commands, so for example, Genome or else like it's a terminal. So where you can open the terminal and you can execute your commands. So the shell here like acts as an interpreter which is running inside our terminal. So we have like these shell types as like a bash, SSH. We have like a different types of shell. So, for example, if you take the terminal as equal to WhatsApp app. So the shell here equal to the person you are chatting. Means acts as a translator. So without shell, terminal is a just a blank space, blank screen. So if no one is typed in the WhatsApp group, then nothing will be happens in the WhatsApp group, right? So same as that. So why we need to learn shell? So it's first faster than the graphical user interface. So the graphical user interface means the Windows has the graphical user interface. Means by clicking itself, we are able to open your files. By clicking itself, we are able to open our folders. So it was mainly faster than the graphical user interface. So it was the mainly like a most powerful command. So which we are mainly using for the automating task. Which we get the scripting. If we write the script, so we used to able to automate our script. So it's a universal. It mainly works on the same servers, desktops, and cloud machines as well. So once you learn Linux and everything, you can go for the DevOps engineer jobs or sysadmin jobs or like the cloud engineer jobs. You can go. So there will be like a in Linux commands generally follow like a command and option structure, options and arguments. So for example, if we have like a ls command, so what here it will do, it will list the files and folders available in our system. And we have like a hyphen I, which we are using for the option. Means if we give the ls means it will display only list of files and folders. If we give the hyphen L means it will displays with the what are the permissions where which time the we are created the file and how much memory the file contains. So it will display everything and what are the permissions it exists. So if you give, we can get to know everything. Home hyphen home is nothing but the argument. So it's nothing but argument is nothing but the directory. In which directory we can know. So we have like a username, so which we are able to get to know the operating system. So and we have like a and we have like a uname. Before going to the Linux commands, so there are like a basic commands. So there are like a different types of commands we have. System commands, hardware commands, file commands, search commands, user commands, and permission commands. We have like a different types of commands in the Linux. We can discuss each and every in day by day classes following. So we have like a uname. These are like a system commands. So it's mainly used for to get the type of the operating system. So to execute our Linux commands, we can execute the online Linux compiler, or else like we can go for the mm, we can install the Linux in our system and we can execute our commands, or else using the any of the cloud like AWS or Azure or GCP we can use. So I'm using the AWS server and executing these Linux commands. So I'm taking the Linux server there and executing our commands. So I have created a Linux server there. We can connect to the Linux means in the cloud itself we can connect to this in three types. So whereas you can use the putty as well, or else using the mobile strong, or else in the server itself you can able to using the connect, you can connect to the your Linux machine. But if you connect to this Linux machine in this way, it has only less features. Means for example I will show you. So I already mentioned about the username and the host name. So there itself what we are here to know. So for example, if we see here, when we are typing the commands, shell prompt there will be it. So when you log in to the Linux system, you can see at the username and the host name followed by the directory, and we have displaying here. So for example, if we see here the username, for us the username is EC2 user. So we have created Linux machine. So the EC2 user is the username and IP address. So this is the system name and this is the home directory and this is the normal user. So if you want to switch to root user, we have to give the command called sudo -i. So it will prompt to the root user. So if you are in the root user, it displays in the hash. Then you can think that you are in the root user. So whenever you see dollar symbol, you are in the normal user. So if you are in the root user, you are in the root user. Hash symbol means. It means the shell is waiting for your commands when you give this. So if you are in the normal user or else like in the root user, the shell is waiting here for your commands. If you give the commands, then we are able to display. So there are like a system commands we have. So uname is to get to know about the operating system. For example, if you give the uname, it tells about the operating system. So present we are using the Linux operating system. So if it is a Mac operating system, it will display Mac. If it is a using Windows operating system, it will display Windows. If it is Ubuntu, so it will display as Ubuntu operating system. So based upon the which operating system which we are using, it displays. And we know that we have like a uname -r. So it displays the Linux kernel version. So we have like a kernel. So we can get to know when we give the uname -r. So it displays all the information about our Linux system information. And we have like a comments like uname -a. So it displays all the information of our Linux system information. So at which time we have created and how much memory it contains and in which zone we have created. Everything will be displayed here. And we have like a command like uptime. So it displays how uptime our machine is running and how long our machine is running. So we have machine is running up to 5 minutes. Means it started at 5 minutes before. And we have like a host name. So it mainly displays the host name. Who is the host here? And we have like if you want to know the IP address of the system, if we give this command, it displays the IP address of our system. For example, if you see there itself, you get to know about your IP address. 127 point. It's not this. So just 172.31, 41, 159. So this is the IP address of our system. So if you want to know about the date, if you give the date command, it displays today's date. So if you want to know about who, means who are you? Like for example, if you go to someone, you can ask who are you. So it displays like who, means it will print all the information like who are currently logged in to our system. It displays all the users. Till now we have discussed about the system commands. We can discuss about the basic commands as well. So we have command like pwd. Pwd means print working directory. So it prints the absolute path name of our current working directory. So it will tell us where are you in our file system. So if we give the pwd command, so it displays present you are in the root user. So in which user you are in, the by giving the pwd command you will get to know. So it tells about the present working directory. So this symbol is called directory. We can discuss in later classes about this. And we have like a ls command. It will list directory contents. So it will list files and directory in our current location. So present you are located in the root user. So if you give the ls command, it will displays how many files and folders in the root user. Present we haven't created any file. So it's an M. That's why it haven't displayed any. So if you created some files, so there itself we are get to know how many files are you have created. You get to know everything like for example, I will create a random file. So I will tell you about the touch. So it's for creating a file. So we can give the touch file one. So if you give, so then you give the ls. So it displays as you have created the file, and you can create a folder as well. So I will tell you everything about all these. So it displays files and how many files and folders you have created. So if we give the command like ls minus la, it displays at which time you have created this file, at which time you have created the folder, and what are the permissions it has, and what are the size of this file. You are get to know everything. So the how can you know whether it is a file or folder? Means the file name is starting with only permissions like this, read, write permissions or execute permissions. So like this, but if it is a folder, the name itself starting with D. So if your name starting with D permissions, then you can blindly say it as folder. So if we give the ls minus la means it will display the hidden files as well. So for example, if we give the ls minus l, so it displays only normal files which you have created. If you give the ls minus la means it will display the hidden files, means dot bash files, dot bash rc files, so dot ssh files. So everything will be displayed here. So we have like a ls minus lh. If we give this command, so it's a human readable files. It will be displayed here. And human readable sizes as well displayed. And we have like a change directory command. So the change directory command used to change means like which we are using for changing the directory. So before going to this, I will explain you. CD. So if you, for example, if we have like a files, you have created multiple files. So for example, if it is as a root user, if you take the folder as folder 1, folder 2, folder 3, folder 4. So before going to the, first of all understand about the CD as well as. So you are in the root user. If you want to change from CD to EC2 user, so there is no bash such type of commands. So by default it says you are in the root user. So in the root user you have created some files. Touch file 2. So you can, if you give the CD to file 2. So you don't have, it's not a directory. Same. So mainly CD which we are using for the to move into the directories. So if you give to the folder 1, so the change directory command which we are using to switch between the directories. So inside a one folder you can create the another files or folders as well. So in the folder 1 itself you have created folder 2. You have created folder 2, and inside the folder 2 you can switch again to the folder 2. Then you can switch again to the, then you have created folder 3. Then you can create again mkdir folder 4. So you can change again like change folder 4. Means it will change in the directory. So just a minute, I have to run. We can give like that. So now we are moving again to the folder 4. So you have changed from moved from root user to the, so present in from the root user to the, you have created folder 1, folder 2, folder 3, folder 4 and everything you have created. From those you have created up to 4 folders. The cd command which we are using for the change directory. So if you want to move from folder 4 to the folder 2, we can go. If you want to go from the root user to the folder 4, we can go. So for example, so if you want to go from root user to the folder 4, we can go by giving the command just a minute. cd slash cd hyphen. If you give this command, so if you give cd hyphen, so it again goes to the root user. From the root user itself, we can go to the. So if you do the cd mains. So present we are in the folder 4, for example. So present, for example, if we are in the folder 4 itself. So if you want to switch from folder 4 to the root user, so you can give the command as cd. So then again it will goes to the root user. But if you want to move from root user to the folder 4, you can give the command like cd hyphen command. Again it goes to the folder 4. Then if you want to give the from folder 4 to the folder 2, if you give the command, if you want to go from the folder 4 to the folder 2, then if you give the command like cd dot dot slash dot that, if you give, again it will go to the folder 2. Then if you want to move again from folder to the root user, if you want, then you can type, then you can go to the root user, same as like here we are using the cd commands. We can discuss in detail in this diagram. For example, this is a circle. You have like a root user. From the root user, you have like a folder called folder 1, folder 2, folder 3, folder 4. So from this, if you want to switch from root user to the folder 4, then you can give the command like cd hyphen. Then it again goes to the folder 4. But if you want to go from folder 4 to the root user, then you can give the command from folder 4 to folder root user. If you want to, then you can give the command as cd. Then you can again go from folder 4 to the root user. But again, if you want to go from folder 4 to folder 3, you can give command like cd dot dot. But if you want to go from folder 4 to folder 4, folder 4 to folder 2, then you can give the command like cd dot dot slash dot dot. You can give. But from the folder 2 to folder 1, if you want to go, then you can give the command like from the folder 4 to folder 1. If you want to go, then you can give the command as cd dot dot slash dot dot slash dot dot. You can give this command. Then it will again goes to the folder one. Same as like here we are doing. So there will be like echo. So it's mainly which we are using for the printing our variables. Echo second class. You understand? It's printing which we are giving. And we have like it clear. So it's mainly clears our terminal screen. So it's clear entire documents which we have created till now. And we have like a man command as well. So it's manual page like access. So it displays who has created like everything, the manual documents. That's it about today class. We can